Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy WattsTV, man, and today we have yet another reaction video. We are actually reacting to the H3 podcast. I've never reacted to one of Ethan's videos, like, ever. To be quite honest with you, I really don't care for Ethan, so I never even really watch his content. But apparently he had Pearl on his live stream, and this was like a 3-hour live stream. And apparently he just ate her alive during this live stream because I guess they were debating on various topics. But yeah, today's topic, we are talking about the subject of banning divorce. But I know if it sounds stupid, it's because it is. But before we get into it, please do me a favor. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. It helps me out with the channel and lets me know that you are rocking with the content. And while you are at it, please do me a favor and follow me on my social media at WattsTV94. That is my Instagram, TikTok, and my Twitter as well. But yeah, let's just get into it.
Kind of, you're friends with Fresh and Fit, right? Those guys are your dogs, so to speak, and you kind of are sympathetic to their kind of views. But you've made a name for yourself just on TikTok
Pandering.
and on YouTube. So let me just ask you generally, like, what kind of messages are you sharing on your platform? What kind of important messages is it that you find yourself are about?
I believe in family, so I think that we should have policies that push family. I think that feminism overall was a bad thing. I think
Policies that push families. And I guess when she says that, she's talking about banning divorce. But how would you even enact that? How would you regulate that? Like,
that we should be. I think women are happier when we have, a family and kids over a career in the long run. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
It's okay. Yeah, I understand. So it's more like, traditional. You want people to kind of follow a more traditional path in terms of family and gender and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, and you just see the negative outcomes a society has when families fall apart, right? And it's especially hard on the children. Like you see,
here we go.
The kids are more likely to go to prison. They're more likely to drop out of school. They're more likely to be in mental health institutions. So you just see all of the problems that come with.
I'm not gonna lie. I think statistically, I haven't looked at the stats on this in a while, but statistically, I don't think she's wrong on this. When parents aren't present in children's lives, I think it does affect them to an extent.
Single mother homes. So I just think it's important that we push policies that push family.
So how do you push
policies that push family?
Policy that promotes family. Like, in what way can you force a family to stay together or encourage it in a sense?
Well, I think you first have to get rid of incentives that incentivize women to leave families. So
incentives, what do we have today that would incentivize anybody to leave a marriage? Like, is she talking about fucking child support, or
for example, child support, alimony? I'm not really a fan of those.
Oh, alimony. Okay, enough with the alimony talk. Let's be honest here, guys. How often is it that a man has to pay his wife alimony? I'm pretty sure that percentage is relatively low. Alimony is not as common as these red pillars think. I'm pretty sure it's not. Matter of fact, let's look it up really quick. So look at this. Today it is, Today it is far less common for anybody, male or female, to receive alimony after divorce than it was in the past. In the 1960s, 25% of divorce settlements included alimony orders. Now this figure is closer to 10%. So that is exactly my point. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen as much as these red pillars want you to think. It does. It is not that frequent.
If there's a divorce, let's
say I think we should ban divorce too. Yeah, I think that should be banned.
Here we go.
Yes.
Okay, well that's a little.
You better be careful, Pearl. This is how MLD got in trouble. This is exactly how he got in trouble. You need to endure, okay? No one, everybody's such a pussy. You need to endure. This is how he got in trouble, because you're saying that people, you need to ban divorce, but there are so many situations where people need to get out of their situation due to, I don't know, abuse.
Bit silly. You have to acknowledge that, right?
No.
So banning divorce means that when you decide to get married, you are not allowed by the government to leave your significant other in any situation.
Hmm. Yeah. I just think that if you want to leave, you just shouldn't get married. So that's just my opinion.
Right, but like in the real world, that kind of simplistic.
And there's like exceptions to this, but I would just say in general, for most cases, we could talk about exceptions, but like the rule.
Well, the
divorce-
exceptions are the important part, because I've heard you say that a lot when you're talking about
They
things.
all
You say,
say
"Oh, you
that.
want to talk about exceptions," but the exceptions is the important part, because those are the people that are going to be affected.
Yes.
I mean, exceptions are going to be a large part of divorce.
25 to 27%. Yes.
As you say,
Somewhere
I
around
mean,
there.
You're talking about like, 25% maybe or more.
Bingo.
Because if you're saying you're not allowed to get divorced, so we're talking about like, what if the relationship is physically abusive?
Mhm. Yeah, I think if it's physically, this is the problem though. All right, if it's one-sided physically abusive, okay.
Hold on. I just had a thought. I'm so sorry. Before she continues and says something stupid, I just had a thought. These red pillars complain about divorce rates so much. It's one of their main talking points, one of their main arguments in these debates. But if you look at the statistics, the divorce rates they're lower than what they have been in years. Mainly that's due to people not getting married as much these days. But as a result, people aren't getting divorced as much either, because people just aren't getting married. So this is the U.S. adjusted divorce rate in 2021. The number of women who reported they divorced declined from 960,014 in 2020 to 948,862 in 2021. The divorce rate, however, remained unchanged at 14.0 divorces per 1,000 married women in both 2020 and 2021. This rate is the lowest level or over a 40-year time span. I am so sorry. I'm having a hard time reading. I am legit tired. But yeah, so as you can see, divorce rates have been low and they are getting lower. Like I said before, mainly is due to the fact that people just aren't getting married at such an alarming rate anymore.
Fine, divorce. We can allow divorce for those exceptions, but
Okay.
like I've even talked to people that work at like abuse centers, and they say that the majority of abuse is mutual. So it's not just one side's hitting the other; it's like mutual.
Yeah, I call cap on that. I really don't know about that. This is one thing that Pearl does that I hate. She will say something from her experience and not back it up by like statistics.
That's not every time.
I think. Yeah, I know.
But it's not healthier either.
Mm-hmm. I just think that the goal should be to keep families together, and that the goal should be to work through
No
it.
matter what.
I think most people agree with that, right? Because I think we all can look at the stats and say family is important, right? Family is important.
I agree.
Nuclear families is important to like the health of children growing up in
I
general.
wholeheartedly agree, but you cannot force somebody to stay in a situation that they don't want to stay in.
I
It's
think we can all
ridiculous.
say that. But when you say something like divorce should be illegal,
Yeah.
we got to kind of suss that out, because that's a pretty extreme claim. For example, in 2014, family violence was the cause of 25% of divorces. So I don't think it's fair to characterize that as some kind of like super fringe example of why people get divorced.
Well, but you also have to look at there's incentive structures in place where there's a lot of false accusations in family court. um like, and a lot of people don't know this, that family court is actually based off, it's not based off of evidence, it's based off a balance of probabilities. You get like in the UK, you get a free lawyer if you accuse your husband of abuse, and it's less than 10% of cases are actually like followed through with the police.
Sorry, I don't want to move on quite yet. I want to stick on the topic of not allowing people to divorce. So you're saying that you do want to allow people to divorce, then you don't really believe that.
No, I would say ban divorce.
Oh, because you just said you would allow an exception in the case of abuse.
I said one-sided abuse exception, sure.
Okay, so
How do you prove that? Yes, thank you.
Force. Or I mean, you
Okay,
ban divorce.
fine. Yeah. Ban divorce except for one-sided abuse.
Okay,
sure.
Except for one-sided abuse. And is there going to be a system to kind of how do you prove that the woman or man?
Well,
was on the,
I think
yeah.
I think you have to press charges in criminal court, not family court.
So this is another one of their talking points that honestly, this is one that frustrates me, right? Because Pearl, she has said so many times, if you're getting abused, why didn't you go to the cops? Why didn't you press charges? Like, are you this dense to the point where you cannot fathom a situation where it might be even more dangerous for a woman or even a man to go to the police because it could put them it could put them in an even dangerous situation than what they were in before? Because let's be honest here, if they go off to prison, they get sent to jail, they might get a slap on the wrist, somebody might bail them out. Can you seriously not think of a situation where it will be more dangerous to call the cops? Like, I 1000% understand that way of thinking, because there could be some sort of retaliation later.
So
like, just because you call the cops on somebody, that it doesn't mean that they're going to jail for a very long time, or they're just going to be in holding forever until a goddamn court date. No, they might get a slap on the wrist, somebody might pay bail, they'll get out, and they could retaliate. This is common sense. Like, fear is there. Fear is one of the main reasons why women will not call the cops when they've been, abused. I mean, maybe men as well.
If your significant other is tried criminally, are you allowed to leave the relationship? Yes. Tried and found guilty criminally.
Yes. Otherwise, just stick out of, which is fine if you don't, want to be with someone forever. But I just say stay out of marriage.
You know what? Yeah, Pearl, because our justice system is just it's so flawless that this will work. It is so flawed. Do you know how many times men will get off scot-free for abusing women if this was actually enacted? That is insane. Because how the hell can you really, how can you prove this unless you have crazy hard-hitting evidence? How can you prove this? This is going to be so hard to fucking quantify. And also, abuse is more so than just the physical. What about the emotional abuse? How do you prove this in court? How can anyone prove this in court?
Right, because when marriage is supposed to be, for better or for worse, and sickness and in health, and for richer or for poorer. It's not supposed to be, when I feel like leaving. And the majority of divorces nowadays, it's just, when the girl just feels like leaving.
That's not true.
So, and well,
it's just not true.
I don't know why she keeps
I've
saying.
talked to hundreds of women.
Oh my God. Here she goes. I talked to hundreds of women. I talked to so many women. I could give two fucking rat nuts who you talk to. Okay, anybody can fucking say that. Well, that's not the case because I talked to so and so. Why the fuck would I take your word? I don't care who you say you talk to.
That's just that doesn't prove anything.
And even if you look at when no fault divorce was initiated in the 1970, I think it was initiated. I mean, one of the number one reasons was financial differences and irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't talk.
Okay, when a couple when a couple divorces because of like irreconcilable differences, isn't that basically like a just a general term? People can use that phrasing when they just simply fall out of love. If you are no longer in love with each other anymore, that can be considered as irreconcilable differences. Am I wrong?
But yeah, I just think, like, you know, for the people that don't believe in real marriage, because what is marriage if you can get divorced over damn near anything? It's not marriage anymore. It's something else.
Well, I think the reason for that, historically, this emphasis on staying married, right? Or even before this no-fault divorce was an option, and it was more difficult for women to get divorced, or men, the abuse of power and the risk for abuse and for people to get stuck in a horrible relationship situation, not just for them, but their kids, right? I mean, obviously, having your kids watch their mother get beat up. And oftentimes it's going to bleed.
Or the kids get watching their father get beat up. Like, it goes both ways.
I acknowledge that. It goes both ways. So both people have a right to.
You know what? A lot of you will be surprised. The amount of men that get abused by women in relationships and in marriages in general, the statistics are actually like fairly close. Like, it's also around like 25%, 24%, somewhere around there. But it's fairly close. You would be surprised how often men get abused.
In my opinion, get divorced, because the alternative is one of the partners being stuck and, like,
do you think that's the majority? Do you think that's the majority of cases?
A majority of cases of what? Divorce?
Of divorce.
25%.
No, but 25% is a lot.
It's 25% based on statistics.
No, but that's not what's in criminal court. It's like less than 10%. It actually followed through in criminal court.
Well, regardless, 10%'s enough, don't you think?
No, I said less than 10% of the abuse cases of the 25%. So that's like.
Journal of Family Violence in 2014 found that approximately 25% of divorces in the United States involve domestic violence.
Right, but again, that's because the woman says that she was, because they're incentive.
Okay, but you're just saying stuff. You're just
literally.
You don't actually know that to be true.
No, I do.
How?
I do. Like, okay, in the UK, there's a law that you get a free lawyer.
What the fuck does that have to do with what you were just talking about?
Sorry, but how does that prove that women are lying about violence?
Yes.
No, because I'm saying that you can't prove it unless they go to criminal court, because criminal court is based off of evidence, where family
court in general is based off of evidence.
Court is based off of a balance of probability. So it means it's more likely that they did it than didn't do it. It's not innocent until proven guilty.
Right, but they're not going to jail. It's just to let the abused.
I mean, you could call it jail when you have a lifetime of not seeing your children. When the
you
whole
could, but it's not.
you could. I mean, have you spoken to these men? It's like literally their whole community thinks they're an abuser. Now they get to see their kids maybe 3 days a month.
Pearl
if they're
has
lucky.
spoken to a lot of people.
Sure, yeah, sure,
a lot of them
of course.
Are put on.
Yeah,
right.
there's bad outcomes for sure. But
horrible.
On the whole,
I mean, a lot of men zero themselves out during this.
They what?
Like a lot of men commit suicide during.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
horrible. It's like absolutely terrible. Like, I interview these men that are going through this.
Yeah, I'm sure that's happened, but at the same time, you're saying women are lying about violence, and I haven't seen you be able to prove that.
I don't know. There's no way that you can just say this without backing it up. You are literally just saying you're not providing numbers. I mean, I don't know.
That you can't prove it unless you go to criminal court, because family
but
court
it's not
is
a crime.
based off of evidence.
Right, but they're not going to jail. It's just about the welfare of the kids, and the people.
It's involved. A crime if you're falsely accusing someone of abuse. And so I'm saying there's no, you can't. They only prove it in less than 10% of cases.
Okay.
In criminal court, because criminal court is based off of evidence. Family court is not.
So let's just say less than 10%. I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt on that. Still seems like enough.
Very good faith. Wow.
To give people the option to leave. And this idea that women just leave whenever they want seems a little bit infantile, because people change, right? Especially when people get married young, which does happen. people change, people go through shit.
Also, that's a good point. When people marry earlier, though, they're the ones that have like the higher divorce rates also.
People grow apart. A lot of the men who end up being abusive, you hear, were one way before they got married and one way after you get married. So I don't think it's fair to say you're just leaving whenever you want, or you should just have to stay in this
there are
forever.
so many
Wouldn't you prefer people get married than never get married? Like, I feel like you would be disturbed if, like, only 5% of couples ever got married.
Like there is so much nuance to this conversation. Like she's not even thinking about all of these different situations.
I'd rather people got married and stayed married.
Right, but that wasn't one of the options.
Wait.
Right. Get married, then
What did he ask?
leaving whenever you want, or you should just have to stay in this forever. Wouldn't you prefer people get married than never get married? Like, I feel like you would be disturbed if, like, only 5% of couples ever got married.
I'd rather people got married and stayed married.
Right, but that wasn't one of the options.
I actually don't see a point in getting married with the way that marriage is today, to be honest.
Wait, you don't see the point in getting married, but you are constantly saying how important the family is. So which one is it? And yes, I know you don't have to be married in order to have a family, but which one is it?
Yeah, because again, like, what is it? The average marriage is like 8 years. So the average marriage is 8 years and you're done. That's not marriage.
Leaving a marriage due to domestic violence and not pursuing criminal charges. Let's say that a woman's in a marriage and they have no fault marriage divorce. So let's say she doesn't want to charge her husband. She just wants to leave amicably, okay? But in your situation, she's forced to charge him legally, to have a police investigation, charge him for domestic violence. Wouldn't that be more damaging to his reputation?
Not if he beat the case, because again, it's based off of evidence. But I mean, I think that why would you?
Okay, whether you beat a case or not, your reputation is still bruised for sure. What is she talking about?
An abusive guy walking free. If he's actually abusive, he should go to jail. Shouldn't we agree on that?
Right, but it's just not that simple. Again, because like it's just not that simple. Abuse cases, because and it's not that simple
see
to
everything in black and white.
Convict people.
I just don't think that men should be punished without evidence. And I think in family court, it's not based off of evidence. It's based on a balance of probabilities. And so you have a case where men only, like, they're stuck seeing their kid like 3 days a month, when, again, it's not based off of evidence. Like, I've interviewed guys where literally the wife, and I've seen the court documents. It's coming out in my documentary that's coming out in the fall. But the wife was plotting to try to get the guy to hit her.
Right, I'm sure that happened, but
the wife still got custody.
Right, but that's not a representative case. Again, I mean, for example, you ask why a mom wouldn't want to try a parent. It's more nuanced, right? I mean, you need a more developed take on it, because it's very traumatic for the kids and the family to put their father through a violence case, and especially when the kids are probably going to have to ask to testify, to talk to the police.
That's a good point.
I totally understand why a mother or father wouldn't want to put their family through that, don't you?
I mean, I can understand it. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. And according to national statistics on domestic violence, okay, there's 10 million men and women each year that are the victim of physical abuse. But in your world, I have a feeling that a lot of these people would be trapped in these marriages, and that's okay.
I said in one-sided abuse.
Nah, bro. No. First of all, shout out Ethan. He made a valid point. Yeah, in your world, these people would absolutely be stuck.
Okay.
So no. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I do think in order to get custody of your kids, if you're going to accuse the other side of abuse, you should have to prove it.
Do you think what do you think is more harmful to kids?
But how do you one more time? How do you prove it? What do you show off bruises? At that point, that could be hearsay. Oh, she got that because she fell down the steps. Unless they have kids and the kids would have to testify. But what if they don't have children? You know, how do you prove that you are getting physically abused? Like if you don't have a recording or something, like that is very hard to prove.
Divorce or physical abuse?
Physical abuse.
Okay, you passed that one.
Ethan hit her with the whatever podcast question, because I think Melina asked this on the podcast. So Melina and Destiny, I believe, because they were like, which one is which one is worse, physical abuse or divorce? And fucking MLD was like, divorce. It affects the kids way more. Like, what? You see just picture you are a kid and you are seeing your mother or father getting the living shit beat out of them, and you think divorce is gonna affect you more? Get the fuck out of here. She had to take a deep breath and answer that one.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to think about it for a second. But anyway, let's move on from this.
No, I just thought it was kind of a silly question. That was all.
No, it's not a silly question, because your red pill counterpart seemed to think otherwise.
Okay, that's refreshing.
All right. I mean, I thought that conversation. Pearl is not smart. Pearl is not smart. But we can chalk it up. I don't know why Pearl subjects herself to these debates, because she is always like very ill-equipped, and that's fine. I'm not a debater either. Like, I have to look up statistics. I'm not sure about things. I don't know a lot. But if I don't know something, I just simply look it up. Yeah, I'm not a debater. So therefore, I'm not going to debate these people on these like topics. Like, I can't like spew off. I mean, I know Ethan has his laptop in front of him, but I can't give these facts and figures and statistics out of my head like so fast. And because I can't do that, I am not going to debate anybody. I don't even think I'm a good debater. I'm not, unless it's something that I'm super knowledgeable on, and I'm not knowledgeable enough on this topic. Like, everything that I've said, I've looked up at some point or during this video, because I genuinely didn't know. But yeah, I just don't know why because Pearl obviously doesn't know much about this topic, which is why she's saying the things that she is saying. So if you don't know and you are unsure about a topic, then why are you going to make yourself look stupid and conduct yourself and put yourself in these debates? I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you want a part 2. There are more questions that Ethan asked as well. He asked her like, what does red pill mean to her, and a couple of other things as well. So let me know in the comments down below if you want to see a part 2 to this video. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. Like I said before, follow me on my social media, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.